Professor Krishnaraj, Professor, ISEC, Bengaluru, and Expert Committee Member, Asset Monetization, Government of Karnataka, who has been a guiding force and a beacon of wisdom in the field of education. Dr. Krishnaraj is a professor at the Center for Economic Studies and Policy Institute for Social and Economic Change, Bengaluru, India, with 26 years of experience as a researcher, teacher, supervisor, policy advisor, and expert committee member. He holds a PhD in economics from the University of Mysore and specializes in environmental economics, inclusive growth, climate change, and sustainable development. His research spans diverse topics including traffic congestion, urban air pollution, climate change financing, and river basin planning. His studies on unaccounted for water in Bengaluru and the socio-economic analysis of the Bangalore-Mysore infrastructure corridor project have been widely appreciated by policy makers. Dr. Krishnaraj has held prestigious roles including Vice Chairman of the Academic Program Committee at ISEC, ICCR Chair Professor in South Korea, and Visiting Scholar at the University of Wisconsin-Yorkville, USA. Currently, he serves as a consultant national economist for the Asian Development Bank and as a member of various expert committees, including the Karnataka State Wetland Conservation Authority and the Committee on Asset Monetization for the Government of Karnataka. He has authored 7 books, 29 research papers, and over 50 articles in leading journals and newspapers. His publications include Economic and Environmental Cost of Traffic Congestion in India and Social Justice and Empowerment in Karnataka. An active educator, he teaches microeconomics at ISEC and has guided 10 PhD scholars with 8 currently under his supervision. Through his research, teaching, and policy advocacy, Dr. Krishnaraj has significantly contributed to shaping environmental economics and sustainable development policies at the state and national levels. Please join me in welcoming Professor Krishnaraj to deliver the valedictory address. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, all the participants here. Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Respected Professor Kaliyappa Kalirajan, the Emeritus Professor, Australian National University. The Chief Guest of this function, Arshendra Kumar. The Guest of Honor, Arshendra Kumar. Chief Guest of the function, K.N. Janardana, and President of this valedictory address, B.A. Kumar Hegde, Professor Joshi, Dr. Mahesh, and Professor Ganaraj, and all the academicians, students, and the press. It is a great honor and privilege to stand before this august gathering at the very religiously worshipped place like Dharmasthala. When the organizers, especially Professor Joshi, called me, we are organizing a international conference at SDM, particularly the Department of Economics and Rural Development. I was surprised. At a small college, they are thinking to organize an international conference, that too inviting international experts like Professor Kaliyappa Kalirajan. I was surprised at a moment, but when Professor Joshi was informing me, I trusted. It is truly an international conference in a befitting way, because the topic of this conference is rural entrepreneurship in emerging economies, a way forward. I am happy to stand before you for next 30 minutes to deliver a valedictory address on the same topic. I would like to draw your attention on the macro perspective or macroeconomic policies on entrepreneurship in India. As you know, India lives in rural area. This was said long back by father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji. He proposed an idea to develop all the rural areas as a harbinger of economic development. But the Nehru, he was studied in UK and he had different ethos to make economic development as a Prime Minister of independent India. So he adopted a policy of mixed economy borrowed from the UK. So he promoted large-scale industries and large dams, irrigation dams and electricity. These are some of the infrastructure he has built over a period of time. But the importance for the rural development has been neglected over a period of time. As a result, even today, India lives in village. If you look at the other emerging economies or other economies, including USA, China, South Korea, Japan, the dependence on agriculture is less than 5%. So today in India, the agriculturalists and agricultural laborers put together, they constitute 59% of the rural economy. In this regard, India is predominantly a rural economy, and a different approach is required to address the problems associated with the rural economy, particularly in the context of developing India as a developed country by 2047. So India is predominantly a rural country with 6,40,930 villages. And as per the 2011 census, 68.8% of country's population and 70.9% of workforce reside in rural areas. So the contribution of the rural economy to GDP, or net domestic product, has been declining, but still it is 47%. But workforce remaining 71%. This is really a challenge for the country like India with a population of 145 crores. So if you look at the population and agricultural workers, the socio-economic conditions can be understood through these statistics. Look at the agricultural workers, cultivators and agricultural laborers. They put together this 54.6% in 2011. The population is also very high, and the growth rate is also 1.50 population growth rate. The rural population constitutes 68.9, but the workforce constitute 54.6% to put together cultivators and agricultural laborers. Let me talk about the role of MSME in rural development. MSME, you know, that are recognized as a growth engine of the economy. They account for 40% of the gross turnover of the manufacturing sector. They account for 45% of the manufacturing exports, about 35% of the total exports of India. They generate employment and help in equal income distribution, particularly in rural areas. The employment generated by MSME is estimated to be around 17.2 million in India. MSME act as a value addition to locally available natural resources. Some of the examples may be khadi industries, kaya industries, which I have studied, the pottery, wood industry, and several other things. Even one of the speaker was mentioning the cultural industry also resides in rural area. So the focus of the government policy since 1950s was protection, that is preferential treatment. However, with the onset of liberalization policy in 1991, the protection has been gradually withdrawn. As a result, they are facing good number of risks and uncertainty. Consequently, MSME suffered in terms of growth of units, employment, output, and exports. Especially after the COVID, the MSME sectors are facing lots of risks and uncertainty. So, technology development, as Professor Kalirajan mentioned in his inaugural address, technology development and strengthening infrastructure has been highlighted in various studies. So this gives a bird's eye view about MSME as large employment creators. Look at this is the units and jobs they have created. The number of MSMEs, 63 million, jobs created is 110 million. These are the registered and unregistered. The problem with the Indian MSME is that most of them are unregistered. So there lies a policy failure of the government. They can't intervene through the policy to support these unregistered MSMEs. So while only 13% of all MSMEs are registered, they contribute to 40% of the MSME employment. If you take unregistered, then its contribution will increase. Look at the top 80% of the registered MSME. Their contribution in textile and apparel, they are participating in various sectors: wholesale, retail, hospitality, security facility, transport, agriculture. It constitutes 3.72% of MSME, construction, IT service, wood, plastic, rubber, metal, likewise. So there are possibilities to diversify the MSME sector in the upcoming sector. So if you look at the MSME and also poverty, the status of MSME here that provides an evidence for the prevailing poverty in rural area also. Because rural areas are facing various problems, therefore the MSME sector can be a growth engine for rural development or poverty elevation, but unfortunately their potential production or marketing potential has not been exploited properly by the government. So therefore their purchasing power in terms of monthly consumption expenditure, even today it is very less. It is 816 per month in rural areas, whereas 1,000 per month in urban areas. But this needs revision given the recent developments and also given the inflation. So this gives some of the recent developments, particularly keeping in view multi-poverty dimensional index developed by the Oxford University but adapted in India by the Niti Aayog. According to it, the poverty has been declining very fast due to provision of basic services like access to education, health, electricity, and water supply, sanitation, and also others. If you look at the state-wise reduction in poverty, headcount ratio, Bihar has reduced a lot. You look at this, how much Bihar has reduced, you can understand from here. And Jharkhand has reduced, Meghalaya, Uttar Pradesh, likewise. This gives the percentage reduction. This gives the percentage of people living below the poverty line. So this table or figure gives some doubts also why they are not in a position, Maharashtra and Karnataka and other states, why they are not in a position to reduce poverty level, and in what way the Bihar, Jharkhand and Meghalaya, Uttar Pradesh and Assam, they are making progress in the poverty elevation. So this is the multidimensional poverty index 2023. They look at the nutrition, the 2015-16 and 2019-21 health. This is education. This is standard of living. over a period of time, there was a gradual improvement in the standard of living, education, access to health, etc. So let me turn into my lecture, the macroeconomic policies. You all know that economic development of any country depends on these three important natural resources or capital. One is natural resources or capital. Second one, human resource. Third one is man-made capital. So economic development of a country directly depends on availability and access to these three important resources. Therefore, natural capital and human capital natural capital, human capital and man-made capital put together, we get the wealth of the country divided by total population. So however, these resources are not beingly or effectively used by the India. As a result, we are having high poverty, unemployment and lack of infrastructure facilities both in urban and rural areas. So if you use these resources effectively, the economic development of individuals, households, the society depends on the capacities, opportunities to acquiring or distribution of these three important resources and capitals by the state will be making the country on the path of the progress. This table gives an idea about estimates of overall wealth of selected countries in US dollar per capita, $1,000 per capita. If you look at the country, some of the countries, and total wealth US dollar per capita and percentage of development due to contribution of human capital, natural capital and man-made capital. So which one is contributing more? That is the human capital which is contributing more for economic development rather than natural capital and man-made capital, except Saudi Arabia, which is depending more on fossil fuels. So here we need to understand the role of entrepreneurs. Human capital plays an important role in the story of economic development of any country. This table reveals some facts and surprises. The traditional history of economic growth theory has tended to suggest that a nation's wealth is very much dominated by its stock of man-made capital assets such as roads and machinery. Even today, our government believes in this concept. But yet the wealth data suggests that this type of capital accounts for only 10 to 30% of overall wealth. Second, the natural capital appears to be relatively important except for those nations with significant energy reserves, for example, Saudi Arabia and Indonesia. The third issue is that the role played by human capital is dominant at about 70 to 80% for most countries, including China, USA, even South Korea, Japan, etc. So therefore, the modern theories of economic growth have been developed with a focus on skills, technology and knowledge, including Schumpeter way back in 1950s. He mentioned that economic growth only takes place if there are improvements in the skill development, technological growth and improvement in the wisdom or knowledge. So innovation, technology and entrepreneurship drives the economy for higher productivity. Let me turn my lecture connecting this role of technology to Vikasit Bharat. You know that the government of India has announced in the last budget, it wants to realize Vikasit Bharat for all of us. It is a comprehensive vision macroeconomic policy by the government of India aiming to transform India into a developed nation by 2047, making the 100th year anniversary of its independence. We got independence in 1947. By 2047, we need to turn India into a developed country. The present economic position of India present the fifth largest economy in the world with $5 trillion. By 2027, the planners are planning to achieve third largest economy as GDP. It crosses by that time $5 trillion as per the IMF estimates. By 2047, India wants to realize GDP growth of $30 trillion with the developed nation attribution. These numbers certainly haunt the economists to analyze and understand the macroeconomic developments in India, major policy challenges and possibilities in the process of transition of Indian economy from $3.25 trillion to 30 trillion by 2047. So I made an estimation. Before that, we can compare these countries, Indian economy with the world economy. Look at the US economy, and its present GDP is $21.47 trillion. That is, it contributes to global GDP, it is almost 25%. China, it commands $14.3 trillion US dollar, contributes to almost 17% of the GDP of world. So put together, they contribute around 40 to 45% to the world economy, GDP. Japan, it stands at 5.8%, 5.1 trillion. Germany, 3.97. India certainly crossover to third place if makes economic development at on an average 8 to 9% in the next at least 10 years, 1 decade. Much early is also possible because the IMF recently has come out with a revised figure where it has reduced the growth rate of India to 6.5%. So I have made an estimation how India can reach this coveted position of developed country status. So India's curious aspirations to become a developed country nation, Viksit Bharat in 47, from a low middle income country to high income country, seems to be a good vision to rightfully commemorate the 100th anniversary of India's independence. In pursuance of this comprehensive vision plan, the elephant needs to wield an extraordinary power to ratchet the high GDP growth rate and climb the commanding heights in 23 years. From current nominal GDP of $3.73 trillion to hoping $30 trillion by 2027. In practical terms, in reality, the world's fifth largest economy should show an extraordinary incremental growth of $1.1 trillion in order to reach Viksit Bharat by 2047 every year to reach the pinnacle. If the GDP growth rate of 7.6% is considered right now for the estimation of an increase in the GDP from rupees 38.78 to 41.74 lakh crores during the last 1 year, 2023 to 24, the increase is just 2.96 lakhs crores. This is grossly inadequate to attain the developed country tag by 2047. And it requires double the GDP growth rate at 12% per annum. The GDP of the largest economies such as USA, China, Germany, Japan and India command 26, 17, 4, 4.23 and 3.73 respectively. Whereas the GDP per capita of the largest economy is, in case of USA, it is $80,000. In case of China, it is $12,000 US dollar. In case of Japan, it is $52,000. In case of Germany, this is Germany, this is Japan, 52,000 US dollar. And Japan, it is $33.95 US dollar, that is 33,000 US dollar. And India, it is 2,610 US dollar per capita. So USA, this one 80, China 12,000, Germany 52,000, Japan 33,000, and India it is the lowest with 2,610 US dollar. India is currently in the group of lower middle income country with per capita income of $2,610. It needs to cover a long terrain to reach various stages of middle income to high income in 23 years. So in order to get the high income countries tag, India's GDP per capita should exceed $12,000 by 2047. So this is the, in order to achieve this pinnacle, they have come out with a macroeconomic policy of Vikasit Bharat. This includes structural transformation, shift in resource from low productivity sector to high productivity, boosting growth, create jobs and reduce poverty, increasing competitiveness, enhancing the efficiency, innovation of firms, improving the quality and diversity of products and services, and expanding domestic and international markets, improving financial and social inclusion, expanding the access and affordability of financial services and social welfare schemes for the poor and marginal groups, governance reforms, strengthening the institutions and process of governance such as rule of law, accountability, transparency and participation, seizing opportunity in the green revolution, adapting and promoting green technologies and practices such as renewable energy, energy efficiency and climate resilience. So improving the labor market, improving the labor quality and quantity of labor supply, enhancing skills and employability of workers, and ensuring fair and efficient labor regulation. So in practice, if you look at this data, India needs to revamp its macroeconomic policy, structural adjustment policy to achieve that status. I don't want to go into these details. Let me turn my lecture to the recent report, the World Development Report 2024. It says it is titled as the middle income trap. So I have also given in Kannada this only word, Madhyama Adayada Bale. So what is this middle income trap? Middle income trap is a situation in which a middle income country experiences a systematic growth slowdown as it is unable to take on the new economic structures needed to sustain high income levels. This is the same problem India is going to face even though it reaches middle income country in the coming years. The World Bank Group classified the countries as this high income countries, this green, upper middle income country, this one Brazil and China, lower middle income country, these are the lower middle income country, India and some African countries, and low income country, there are some African countries. This is how India's position in the world economy. What this report suggests about making economic development more faster and growth oriented. Look at the growth strategies to avoid the middle income trap. The report draws ideas from Schumpeterian growth models which emphasize creative destruction. Creative destruction means new innovations replace older innovations, and institutional change had the potential to provide the analytical foundations for fuller understanding of middle income economies. So basically, Schumpeter says that the old technologies have to die down and new technologies have to emerge in order to make economic development faster. Just like earlier we were using land phones, they have been replaced by iPhones now, mobile phones, and typewriting machines replaced by the computers, laptops, like that. So just like you can mention many other products. So the report states that the three factors or three I's work as a miracle for economic development. One is investment. Huge investment is required to make economic development possible. Infusion of new technology and innovation. So each shift in investment, infusion and innovation requires a new mix of policies result in increasingly dynamic enterprises, an increasingly productive workforce, and increasingly energy efficient economy. So these successful middle income countries will have to engineer two successive transitions to develop such economic structures. The first transition is from 1I strategy for accelerating investment to a 2I strategy focusing on both investment and infusion. In the later stage, a country brings technologies from abroad and diffuses them domestically. So it is a part of capitalism we have adopted. And once a country has succeeded in the first transition, the second transition consisting of switching to a 3-1 strategy, which entails paying more attention to innovation. So this is how a country can make development by focusing on these 3 I's. So they also give one beautiful example, taking the example of Infosys and Tata Consultancy. I can also add Wipro. Creation of entrepreneurship in India service sector way back in 1980. Rajiv Gandhi has made a policy of IT policy where he imported some of the computers and allowed these Infosys organizations to set up a company. So that led to innovation. Investment leads to innovation, and policies, macroeconomic policies also favored, and government has extended all the support in terms of land, in terms of electricity, water, all the infrastructure, and export, tax, concession, and subsidy, and everything. So as a result, they picked up quickly, and Infosys grown tremendously over a period of time, and Tata Consultancy also grown. So I can compare this story of success to South Korea also, because I was in South Korea. I witnessed South Korea was a underdeveloped country, and its per capita income was less than India in 1960s. How it has revolutionized economic development, because they have sent their engineers to Japan to study how to make TVs, how to make washing machines, how to make cars, and how to make mobile phones. They learnt and they came back. They have established with the support of the government, Samsung, LG, Hyundai, Kia, and many other companies have flourished in South Korea that led to today it is a high income country in Asia. So this story gives a thought that the macroeconomic policy support is very much required for individuals who wish to become entrepreneurs. And this report also gives comparison, where is the suggested indicators to provide clear picture of the underlying structure of an economy, where our economy is in terms of enterprise, in terms of talent, in terms of energy. Let us focus on enterprise and talent, forget about the sustainable development issues, I will come later. And if you look at India, it is per capita income is GNI is 2,540, and Pakistan is here. You come to Brazil, it is 9,070, and you come to Mexico, it is 12,100. China, it is 13,400, and Russian Federation, BRIC country, 14,250. Likewise, and economic complexity index is, I'll do that. And the productivity constraints, distortions, if you look at this one, and technology index is very low in case of India. If you come to Russian Federation, is 4, China it is 13, and also other countries are here. You can see South Korea, it is technology index is 92.5%, Japan it is 50.1%, and United Kingdom is 9%. So this technology has driven economic development in these countries. So In the same way, the talent, look at the talent. India's talent is 0.03 social mobility and researchers per million and completion of this one. It is very low in all indicators are considered. Whereas in the case of other countries, it is very high. So therefore, in the capitalistic economy India has adopted after 1991, it should invite more FDI and make more investment on entrepreneurs and technology development, and its research and development fund should be more in terms of innovation, but that is not taking place as per the data. So the risk and the uncertainties are increasing. Investment risks are there, climate risks are there. Government need to provide enabling environment. The big push theory suggests that a country can experience economic development by making a large investment in key sectors with coordination between government, private sector and international organization. The theory states that economies can become more productive and competitive by increasing investment in education, healthcare and infrastructure. If you look at the statistics of research and development investment in India, it is very low, research and expenditure. It is increasing, but when compared to percentage of GDP, it has drastically come down. So a country which is not investing on innovation, research and development and technological progress cannot progress, as I have shown in the South Korean case, and I have also given, if in case of Israel, it is 5.56% of the GDP, South Korea it is 4.93%, and America it is 3.46%. They are the world's largest leading spenders on research and development as percentage of GDP. So look at the World Investment Report 2024, the inflow declined in more than half of the 20 recipients. The FDI has come down drastically, but India receives very meager amount of FDI when compared to United States, China, Singapore, Hong Kong and other countries. FDI in developing Asia fell by 8% to $620 billion. China, the second, it is also falling there also. So how to unlock the growth and prosperity in agriculture and MSME sector in India is that, so creating market for India's traditional goods of marginal farmers and artisans is very important. Schumpeter's creative destruction, that is innovations displacing inferior technologies, works here, and economic structure from within incessantly destroys the old one and incessantly creates a new one. This is the essential fact that about capitalism and entrepreneurship zeal for profits, the driving force for most innovations and skill development. Skill development needs to be at the heart of this global economic transition, which adds in acquiring specialized skills, acquire knowledge, expertise to use new tools and technologies. So the development of skills can contribute to structural transformation such as India's success in software industries. The creative destruction can take place in both macro and micro settings. Therefore, government policies need to quickly harness new technologies to bring quick policies to transform the production and economic structure. Government is already implemented digitization and artificial intelligence policies that can be extended to agriculture and MSME sector through production incentives. So there is also one more, the Angel's Law states that as nation's income rise, the percentage of income spent on food increases and the percentage of income spent on other goods and services increases. However, in fact, studies have shown that people prefer to buy healthy, organic and nutritious food with income rise. The food basket changes from food to proteins with the rising incomes. So the G20 leaders have also declared a climate resilient agriculture with nutritious grains such as millets, quinoa, sorghum and other traditional crops can be encouraged. So majority of the farmers in India, small and marginal farmers, and promotion of production of millets help the cause of the doubling of farmers' income and growth of new entrepreneurship. Given the scarcity of water, organic and natural farming needs to be given more thrust as most of the agriculture goods may not be depend on global value chain. Therefore, one district, one product along with climate resilient agriculture policies should help in providing productive incentives. So the another theory I can bring in here is that the Kelvin's Lancaster theory, consumer utility maximization choice in terms of bundles of attributes, that is characteristics. Goods are distinguished by their combination of attributes, and the demand for goods is derived from the demand for attributes rather than the good per se. The good per se does not give utility to the consumer. It possesses characteristics, and these characteristics give rise to utility. When we buy a food, we are not buying food alone. We are buying the taste and its quality and other attributes, characteristics. When we are buying car also, we are buying its color, its make, etc. So the taste and preferences are fast changing in globalized and consumeristic society. There is an urgent need to study the taste and preferences of the people and change the production pattern accordingly. So tap opportunities, one district, one product, geographical indication and Vishwakarma, artisans, products, etc. So the Armula Kannadi in Kerala is demanded in Russia. So these type of traditional crops should be encouraged. So these are some of the list of geographical indications in Karnataka. These products can be popularized in the world, and entrepreneurship should be encouraged in this area. And this is the Armula Kannadi produced by the artisans in Kerala, and it is demanded in Russia and other countries. So the climate risk is the another problem. The coir industry, for example, can overcome these type of risks in India. I studied this coir industry. The production, innovation, diversification and alternate use of coir products will generate rural employment apart from establishment new industries. Coir husk can be processed as geotextile and can be used for soil conservation, strengthening canal embankment and road and rail construction work. While coming by the train, we have seen all this geotextile placed on the preventing the landslide. So coir pith as organic manure for agriculture, horticulture and floriculture, and coffee and tea estates can be encouraged. Coir polymer composites for producing doors, tables and rubberized products such as mattresses, etc. These agro-based industries need to be promoted in rural areas. The Rootset and SKD or DP are doing excellent work in promoting rural entrepreneurs. So these are all the National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change by the NABARD, but I don't go into it. But there is a lack of problem. So this World Development Report summarizes how we can make development by promoting enterprise, talent and energy. These lower middle income countries discipline market leaders through integration into globally contestable markets, diffuse global technologies with fluid factors and product markets, reward value-adding firms to estimate business dynamism, talent discipline allied by providing equal opportunities for women, minorities and disadvantaged groups, improve allocation of talent to task, develop links among local and globally leading universities likewise. So I am coming to end policy suggestions for rural entrepreneurs. Creating entrepreneurial communities, regions is very important in India. So government needs to make huge investment and they should trust the youths, handhold them and make them, encourage them to be new entrepreneurs. So orient the culture of rural people and place towards entrepreneurship gel ecosystem, fostering public policy environment leading to investment in entrepreneurship development, climate resilient agriculture with promotion of nutri-cereals with production incentives to be encouraged. MSME, especially artisan industry, need to be promoted with financial assistance and skill development. This one district, one product also can be supported. So if you look at the Gandhiji, India is moving in a different paradoxical situation. On the one hand, it wants to increase the GDP. On the one hand, it has to achieve sustainable development. But it cannot be done unless the rural economy or rural entrepreneurship is being developed on the lines of principles of sustainable development. So there is a urgent need to recognize the role of nature and its resources for the survival of the people and sustenance of the economy. Gandhiji advocated the laws of nature are universal and laws of economies are not universal. Therefore, economic laws aim at material progress need to be formulated according to the laws of nature. So economic laws of country need to be determined by the factors endowment such as natural resource on which economy functions. So Gandhiji's economic thought were directed towards economy of permanence. This has been popularized by J.C. Kumarappa, his follower. So therefore, we need to consider economic development with sustainable goals and sustainable development principles that are also important along with development of the economy on income basis. So finally, my suggestion is that the government has trust deficit on Indian youths, and it should invest on youths as entrepreneurs, promote technology and promote innovation to reap economic benefits, just like Infosys, Wipro, Tata and Tech Mahindra, and also there are several local entrepreneurs have been developed in this country. So in this regard, a shift of mind from seeing parts to seeing wholes, that is holistic policy, from seeing people as helpless reactors to seeing them as active participants in shaping their reality. From reacting to the present to creating the future of the youths. Because we have demographic dividend in India, the government should trust and invest on youths, and then only they become the new entrepreneurs just like Narayan Murthy and others. So I stop here and thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that thought-provoking address and for encapsulating the essence of this conference so beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to honor the personalities instrumental who are in making this conference successful. I request our guest of honor, Shri D. Harshendra Kumar sir, and President of this conference, our Principal, Dr. B. A. Kumar Hegde sir, to kindly honor the Dr. G.V. Joshi and Professor Krishna Raj. And I also request all other dignitaries to join. Dr. Joshi and Professor Krishna Raj, on behalf of everyone gathered here, we present to you this token of our deepest respect and admiration. This felicitation is not just a recognition of your immense contribution to this conference, but also a celebration of the enduring legacy you continue to create. We are deeply grateful to you, Dr. G.V. Joshi and Professor Krishna Raj, for your tireless efforts, thoughtful advice, and unwavering support in making this conference a success. Your wisdom and leadership are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you, dignitaries.
It is my privilege to introduce and invite our esteemed guest of honor, Shri D. Harshendra Kumar sir, Executive Coordinator, Shri Kshetra Dharmasthala and Honorable Secretary, STMA Society, who has graciously spent his valuable time to join us. We are truly honored to have him with us today, and we would be delighted to hear his thoughts and insights. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri D. Harshendra Kumar sir to speak a few words.
ಓಂ ಶ್ರೀ ಮಂಜುನಾಥಾಯ ನಮಃ. ಓಂ ಶ್ರೀ ಜನಾರ್ದನಾಯ ನಮಃ. 2 ದಿವಸದ ರೂರಲ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇನ್ ಎಮರ್ಜಿಂಗ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಾಗಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಹೆಗಡೆ ಅವರೇ, ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಸ್ಲೈಡಿನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗತಿಯನ್ನು PPF ಮೂಲಕ ತಿಳಿಸಿದಂಥ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣರಾಜರವರೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿರಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಜನಾರ್ದನ್ ರವರೇ, ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಜೋಶಿ ಅವರೇ, ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರಾದ HOD ಆದ ಗಣರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೆಮಿನಾರನ್ನು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಹೇಶ್ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಬಂದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೆಮಿನಾರನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡಂತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಸ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಹೊಸ್ತು ಡೆಲಿಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು, ಬಹುಶಃ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ಸ್. ಇವಾಗ ಭಾಳ ಈ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ ಬಹುಶಃ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸೆಮಿನಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ನಾನು ಪ್ರಥಮ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್, World Conference on Religious for Peace, way back in 1980 in Bangkok. Perhaps I was about 27 years old. I went with my elder brother, Dr. Virendra Hegde. He was also a youngster. And I was also a youngster. So I went there as a secretary plus cook, because he doesn't eat in the hotels. So I had to cook for him. Thank God he came back happily. Then I went to Kenya and then went to Bali for World Conference on Religious for Peace. So that is the international conference. Then couple of international conference happened in Bangalore and others, but where I was a visitor. But Mahesh didn't allow me to back out. I said, I am a back screen director. The actors are all of you. But he made me to act now. It's very difficult to act. Direction is easy. But what I observed is how the economy should grow and how the economy should sustain. With respect to Mr. Krishnaraj, my observation and my finding, because in that field I'm too small a person to tell anything about you, but you should always highlight how much is our population. United States stood first, then comes Japan, all this, then India came fifth. But that side, you have not put the population. In this population, we have achieved fifth rank. So I personally feel that also has to be, because that ratio calculation I don't know. That you will be all the knowledgeable subject experts should be knowing it. So that's what is my observation. If you correct me if I am wrong. Yeah, China is there, but China is above us. How they become above us is to be argued. It has to be compared. Why? What is our weakness? Why we are not coming? The thing is, my observation is how the young group, the students. Now you are students, but you should have some commitment. If you don't have a commitment, it is very difficult, because I keep saying we are all about 65 plus. Mr. ಎಂತವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಕಾಳಿಯಪ್ಪನ್ Kalirajan, we are all 70 plus. So I can come with your, you will be the captain of the ship and I am the, because I keep telling people, I have seen life, you people have to see life. Because seen life, we have a lot of experience and a lot of observations to be done, which cannot be digested by the youngsters. Because they say we are right, everything is right, and we blame the government. The government has certain policies. My feeling is, if instead of what you call economic and rural development, I think you should add banking also. If banking is added, they will be knowing what are the problem with the new people who are having economic problems and job problems. If they don't finance, whatever you do, whatever you act, it doesn't fulfill. So it has to be a common understanding within the banking. See, now the policies are easy. Now the CIBIL has come inside. CIBIL has given a lot of problems. Yes, it is good for the economy, it's good for the finance. But you, if 500 rupees is pending in, I had a problem. A credit card which was used by me about 2 years back, that has reflected CIBIL and say 980 rupees has to be paid. For that, they took around 6 months to reset it. So I couldn't do any business on that. Of course, I am too small a person to talk about civil, but this is my feeling, this is my observation. So if at all it is to be improved, that has to in this platform. And now I am very proud to say that under B.A. Kumar Hegde's leadership, a lot of what you call seminars happened last 6 months. So for every now and then they come and call me. They will call me, me or my brother, which it is not possible for us to always to come. But today 3:30 is my sleeping time. But I have forcibly he called me and I came here. And I was lucky to be with Mr. Professor Joshi, Mr. Nagaraj, and all of here. When you talk of Hegdeji, he is an institution by himself. See, people who have experienced him, because I am his direct brother, I have either breakfast or lunch with him. So he keeps telling what are the problems, how he comes across the problem of the devotees. And not only devotees, business people come, and fishermen come, and industrialists come, real estate people come, and they keep telling that he is a godly man. If he says something, it will happen. So that is the belief they have. But on the contrary, if you say he gets a rich experience by talking to people, and he gives a solution which helps the people. Now, for example, you take this agri-leaf people who worked in 8 kilometers from our Dharmasthal. There are rural areas. You should see the guys, youngsters, that are struggling for existence. But how the bankers will help, it is very questionable thing. The policies also is very difficult. I run some industries. Too much problems. Today they make a policy. When we go back of the policy, they end of the policy, they change the policy. They twist the policy. Now, for example, you take solar. Solar, they said 6 rupees or 7 rupees when you go to the grid. So all people went for the thing, for power generating. Sir, you may not believe me. Within a year, they increased to 8 rupees 50 paisa. The margin of income was 1 rupee 50 paise or so. Where we will stand, sir? This is what the problem we are facing. So that policy has no end or no start. See, in my business, today they will say, tomorrow we will have a drone survey. Sir, I am running a crusher, jelly crusher. Now the policymakers say, you have to have a drone survey, and in the drone survey they will detect how much stone you have removed, and if you have not paid the thing, we will 5 times penalty. Sir, it is how to survive in that. Of course, I am talking irrelevant, I don't know, because I am telling you. But how the economy should grow? How can economy grow? If the policy is shifted and policy is changed, how can we change it? So this is what the people in the end users are having difficult. Once you make a little money, I don't know whether to blame the politicians or to blame the bureaucrats. They immediately try to put some ankush, for elephant they put ankush. They will not allow you to go. They create some problems. So this should improve. Whatever you do, whatever the policy you do, until or unless these policies should not, if policies should not improve, it's very difficult. Now you take, for example, Janardhan, who is left next to you. He was a general manager in the bank. Luckily, he has joined us, and he is building an empire called Siri. It's not a joke. But that Siri has given thousands of employment. See, if employment to be generated, some industry should come. If industry is not, if they don't help us, it's difficult. Now take example Anil. He is there. He is managing about 55 lakh people all over the state. I don't know what economy has helped your government. Sir, you should highlight it. No, because I don't know, because of course that's a ocean. The government money is a ocean. It is not small. We may be a small boat there, not even a boat. But if you can identify that, it is nothing like that. So this is a thing. Now the Mahesh and thing, you have been given good praise of the organizing this seminar. So good. Congratulations, both of you. Yeah. So this is what I want from them, not praises. You want the end result. I want the end result. I don't want a praise. I don't want a praise, I want a end result. So, and Mr. Kumar Hegde also is a dynamic person who has, I think another 45 days, he'll say goodbye to us. He'll be retiring. Anyway, in his last tenure, he has done a wonderful thing. And with all few words. And another, I keep telling people, how employment is generated. I keep telling youngsters, how generated. Now, I get an employment. I am happy with the employment. I don't know whether he does it not, does the job properly or not. But I got an employment. If he gives the job properly a justice, then I will flourish and I will get one more person to join. So employment is created that way. ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗಾದೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಬೇಕು ಕೆಲಸ ಬೇಡ. ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಟ್ ನೋ ಜಾಬ್. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್. ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಬೇಕು ಕೆಲಸ ಬೇಡ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗದ್ದೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಯಂಗ್ಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಸಲಹೆ ಉಚಿತ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೀವು ಅದು ಮಾಡಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಖಚಿತ. ಸಲಹೆ ಉಚಿತ. Advice is free, but problem is yours. So we can say international conference you can do every year. It's an salaha. But oh? Sorry, I think I took a lot of time, and with all the few words, you both, the economics department has done a good job, and somebody should observe them what they are going to do next 1 year. Mr. Kumar Hegde, you should observe what the economic department is doing next year. They can't relax. They can't relax. It's an observation. I will come to you later. So with these few words, I conclude my whatever I came to my mind. So if I have taken a lot of time of yours, please excuse me. God bless you all.